Good afternoon and welcome to TVM News. Today is Friday, November 17th. I'm Brooke Williams.
And I'm Hannah Weaver. This week, we'll bring you the latest on a dog that died at the Dixon City PetSmart.
We also have updates on a power line failure in Puerto Rico.
And we'll check in with TVM sports anchor John Ferraro to find out the latest happening in Marywood sports.
The Marywood community showed appreciation for veterans last Friday. I was there in the Field of Flags. Marywood and the Office of Military and Veteran Services held their annual ceremony in honor of Veterans Day. Members of the Marywood community gathered in the Field of Flags to give thanks for those who fought for our freedom. Each flag represents a man or a woman who died serving the United States. The ceremony began with a prayer, followed by a moment of silence and words from guest speakers. Kwaku Dochi came out to show his support for veterans.
The military life is not easy, and they sacrifice a lot, their family, their time, their livelihood, and it's just good to show that support, show them the respect that they deserve for everything they've done.
The office also collected thank you notes for veterans and later distributed them at the Geno Murley Veterans Center in Scranton.
And so we decided to do something that was a little more tangible, something that we could actually take copies of those down to the Veterans Center and make sure that the vets down there know that the entire community still appreciates them. On behalf of everyone at TVM News, we would like to thank all veterans for their service.
For TVM News, I'm Brooke Williams.
The Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary are celebrating Founders Day. The sisters gathered Wednesday at Our Lady of Lourdes Chapel at the IHM Center and invited all Marywood students to join them in celebration. Sister Teresa Maxis brought the IHM Sisters to Pennsylvania, and Marywood was founded by the Scranton Sisters. The university continues to follow the IHM mission and core values.
The Marywood Board of Trustees held what several members described as a productive meeting last weekend, including talk of an improving financial outlook. Marywood President Sister Mary Persico says the university is making progress with its financial deficit, and she expects to have a break-even budget next year. 4 new board members were seated, including Reverend John LaPera, who said the meeting had a positive energy.
Better Together hosted an event to show unity with women who wear hijabs. TVM's Jess Bonacci has more.
Better Together hosted Wear a Hijab Day at Marywood on November 15th. Anyone passing through the rotunda from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. had the opportunity to choose a scarf or learn more about wearing a hijab. One of the event organizers, Salma Ahmed, explained that inspiration for the day came from a former Marywood professor.
This is like for her and other students that have came up to me and they asked like, would it be offensive if we wear the hijab? And I said no, like it wouldn't be because it doesn't mean that you guys are Muslim. Like it means that you guys are showing support for like Muslim women that do choose to wear it in America.
Better Together had been working on the event since August of this year, according to organizer Michael Carone.
I think we're hoping the takeaway is just a better understanding of why women choose to wear hijab and what it is, and, that it's not something that they're forced to do.
Student Jenny Wisdom explained why she chose to participate in the event.
So for me, every time they have one, it's an opportunity to learn something new about a new culture, new people, traditions, and all that. I get a lot out of it myself, so.
Student Gabby Santos said she wanted to use the event as a way to share a message.
I just was kind of walking out of class and then I saw the table and I did see the flyers around campus. So when I approached the table, I asked the person in charge of the table what was mainly going on, and after she explained it, just to bring more awareness of what the hijab means and just to kind of experience a day in a Muslim woman's life, I felt really interested, and I feel like this is something that I should experience. And when people ask me why, because they don't normally see me wearing a hijab every day, I can kind of bring that message to them as well.
For TVM News, Jess Bonacci.
Marywood is celebrating the success of Associate Professor of Theater Charles Gorden. A professional company called Ripple Effect Artists based in New York will be performing his original one-act play called Guarding the Bridge at the Sargent Theater. Professor Gordon will also have a talkback session with the audience after the performance.
Author Anne Claycomb visited Marywood last week to talk about her novel, The Mermaid's Daughter. TVM's Brianna Ryan has more.
Author Anne Claycomb discussed her writing career and fairy tales in literature with students and faculty in the Learning Commons last Thursday. Senior clinical psychology major Teresa Longstreet shared why she enjoyed Claycomb's talk.
It's just really interesting to hear her process and what really inspires her to write her novels.
During the event, Claycomb read a portion from her novel, The Mermaid's Daughter, which focuses on what really happened to the fairy tale character, the Little Mermaid. Senior history major Elizabeth Wyman explained why she thinks it's important for authors to speak on college campuses.
This was really great, especially for the English classes, because there's some things you won't know unless you ask the author directly, so I think that's something that's really helpful for students.
The event concluded with Claycomb answering questions from the audience and signing copies of her book. For TVM News, I'm Brianna Ryan.
Up next, we have the latest on a dog's death at the Dixon City PetSmart. Stay tuned.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you?
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfasts.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to TVM News. A Scranton family is mourning the loss of its pet. Betty Miller dropped her Bichon named Brewster off at the PetSmart in Dixon City last week for grooming. While in the grooming salon, another dog attacked Brewster. PetSmart took Brewster to the Veterinary Referral and Emergency Center, but he was dead on arrival. Miller is unhappy with how PetSmart handled the situation and said she believes there should be further safety protocols to avoid the situation in the future.
The new board president of the Griffin Pond Animal Shelter says the facility will only euthanize animals for medical reasons. The South Abington Township Shelter will no longer euthanize animals for behavioral problems or overcrowding. A renovation will be completed next year to create additional space for cats and dogs. The shelter is also working on finding more volunteers to foster animals when there is not enough space to house them. This change comes in the wake of accusations of mistreatment of animals. New directors will join the board next month in an attempt to increase public trust in the shelter.
A Pennsylvania state trooper is recovering from multiple gunshot wounds suffered last Tuesday. The unidentified trooper pulled over 22-year-old Daniel Khalil Clary for speeding on Route 33 in Plainfield Township. Clary was arrested on suspected DUI charges and began to violently resist. He somehow escaped from officers and returned to his car to retrieve a gun. He fired repeatedly at police, hitting one trooper several times. Clary fled to a hospital where he was again taken into custody. He is charged on various counts of attempted homicide and assault. The condition of the trooper is unknown.
A blood pattern expert is being appointed to review evidence from a 2014 homicide trial that sentenced a Scranton man to prison for up to 80 years. 27-year-old Jason Dominic was sentenced to prison for fatally shooting 24-year-old Frank Bonacci in 2013. Dominic sought the expert in hopes that evaluating the evidence could support his claim that the third man involved in the incident actually fired the shots that killed Bonacci. A judge is considering if Dominic should receive a new trial based on his claim that his former attorney was ineffective.
A Wilkes-Barre man is pleading guilty to third-degree murder for a deadly shooting last year. Keanu Pinnock was arrested in Florida for the murder of Irvando Crooks. Police say Pinnock and Tavon Thomas shot Crooks at a home in Wilkes-Barre. Crooks later died at a hospital.
A couple in Luzerne County is facing drugs and weapons charges. Roberto Torner and Liza Robles were arrested in August after federal agents raided their properties. Torner and Robles were accused of setting several fires, selling heroin, and purchasing guns illegally. Police believe the pair started fires in two of their own properties. Before the arrest, Torner was running for Freeland Borough Council and planning to open up businesses downtown. One of Torner's employees was also arrested in August and faces several weapons charges as well.
Authorities are looking for vandals who splattered paint on a memorial statue in the Ashland community. Vandals painted red lines on the Mothers Memorial statue that was built during the Great Depression to honor the mothers of Ashland. Borough officials say they'll remove the paint as soon as possible. The vandals have not been identified.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says the United States should find a way to cover all Americans at an affordable cost. Clinton was the keynote speaker at a health symposium held at Geisinger Medical Center near Danville last week. She discussed universal health care on stage with Geisinger's president and also talked about the opioid epidemic. She criticized Congress for not reauthorizing funding for the CHIP program, which provides health insurance to eligible children.
A Schuylkill County town is welcoming its new mayor, who just graduated high school last year. Voters in Tamaqua chose 19-year-old Nathan Gerace as their mayor earlier this month. He beat two write-in candidates. Gerace said he feels capable of doing the job well and said he is not afraid to ask for help from his borough. He plans to take classes at Lehigh Carbon Community College while fulfilling his mayoral duties.
We'll be right back with some historic election results from across the country, but first, here is your 7-day forecast.
I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you?
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfast.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to TVM-News. Election day last week brought many victories for minority and LGBT candidates. Danica Roem was elected to the Virginia House of Delegates, making her the first openly transgender person to serve in a state legislative body. Andrea Jenkins became the first openly transgender person of color to be elected into public office after she won a seat on the Minneapolis City Council. Citizens of Hoboken, New Jersey, elected Ravinder Bala, the first Sikh mayor to ever serve in the state, while in Provo, Utah, voters chose first female mayor Michelle Kafusi. Seattle elected its first openly gay mayor, Jenny Durkin.
Puerto Rico is in the dark again after a main power line failed last Thursday. The failure knocked out electricity to 7 cities that recently regained power. Hurricane Maria disabled the power grid almost 2 months ago, and Puerto Rico only reached just over 43% capacity before the power line failed. Many island residents are still without running water, and the food supply is once again dwindling. FEMA is offering to transport hurricane survivors to the continental United States. This will allow survivors to temporarily relocate to Florida or New York until it is safe for them to return home. Only 2 of over 1,000 shelter residents have signed up to relocate.
President Trump is back from his 12-day trip to Asia. He spoke during a speech from the White House about his journey to Japan, South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines. He said the trip was a success. Trump explained the reasons for this trip, citing the growing nuclear threat of North Korea as a top priority. Trump also discussed trade agreements with different countries and promised better deals for the United States. He commented on the role the United States plays internationally.
When we are confident in ourselves, our strength, our flag, our history, our values, other nations are confident in us. And when we treat our citizens with the respect they deserve, other countries treat America with the respect that our country so richly deserves. During our travels, this is exactly what the world saw: a strong, proud, and confident America.
The White House is being criticized for a failed attempt to pressure the Homeland Security Department to end the Temporary Protected Status Program. The program permits about 300,000 people from countries affected by violence and natural disasters to live in the U.S. without fear of deportation. The White House reportedly sought to end the protection to fulfill President Trump's promise of cutting back on immigration.
The U.S. and its allies are still trying to gather troops to carry out President Trump's new strategy for the war in Afghanistan. Trump announced a broad plan last August, but did not give any details about the strategy. The commanding officer of American and international forces in Afghanistan said he requested several thousand additional troops for the mission since February. Trump authorized an increase of about 3,000 troops since announcing the new strategy this past summer.
FBI counterterrorism supervisor Robert Manson is being investigated. A woman stole Manson's gun from his North Carolina hotel room after he had been drinking heavily. The woman also stole his $6,000 Rolex watch and $60 in cash. No arrests have been made, and the gun has not been found. The female suspect is unknown. Manson oversees all terrorism investigations in the Midwest and the Carolinas. He was in Charlotte for training at the time of the incident.
Senator Rand Paul is recovering from injuries after his neighbor reportedly assaulted him. Retired physician Rene Boucher allegedly tackled Paul from behind while he was mowing his lawn. Paul suffered from 6 broken ribs and a buildup of fluid around his lungs, making his injuries worse than originally reported. Boucher pleaded not guilty to 4th-degree misdemeanor assault, but the increased severity of Paul's injuries could lead to a more serious assault charge.
Republican U.S. Senate nominee Roy Moore is facing increasing calls to withdraw from the Alabama Special Senate election as further allegations of him seeking relationships with teenage girls came to light. At least 5 women allege that Moore sought them out when he was in his early 30s. Lee Korfman said she was 14 when Moore brought her to his home and initiated sexual contact. Others shared that Moore took them on dates and bought them alcohol, but did not initiate sexual contact beyond kissing. Moore denied the allegations, calling them completely false and a political attack by Democrats.
The Washington Post published yet another attack on my character and reputation in a desperate attempt to stop my political campaign for the United States Senate. These attacks involve a minor, and they are completely false and untrue. This article is a prime example of fake news, an attempt to divert attention from the true issues which affect our country. I have not been guilty of sexual misconduct with anyone. These allegations came only 4.5 weeks before the general election on December 12th. Why now?
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and a growing number of other GOP senators said Moore has to drop out of the race if these allegations are found to be true.
Comedian Louis C.K. is admitting to sexual harassment allegations from 5 women. The women claim that C.K. acted inappropriately, in some cases masturbating in front of them. Comedians Dana Min Goodman and Julia Wolof said CK exposed himself to them in his hotel room. CK initially denied the allegations, then apologized, saying the stories are true.
Maryland veteran Kermit Dyke is the oldest living West Point graduate at 103 years old. He joined the National Guard after graduating high school during the Great Depression. Dyke's family members have served in the military for more than 100 years. To keep that tradition going, to keep the tradition alive, he served as an Air Force officer in World War II in Africa, Italy, and France. His son is also a West Point graduate.
Up next, we'll check in with TVM sports anchor John Ferraro for the latest happening in sports. Stay tuned.
Athletes are students too. When did you start to pick up basketball and start?
My dad was always out there with us, so we'd have like 2-on-2 games, and that's where it started.
They have goals and aspirations outside the world of sports.
There's a lot of new energy on the team, so it's cool to get to know all the new kids too.
It's easy to write about these players. It's not so easy to play at their level. What about the coaches? They're normal people too. Sure, you see them yelling commands from the sideline, but that's their job at that moment in time.
The biggest thing is all about respect. Respect for your teammates, your coach, the official, the other team.
We enter a journey to understand who these players and coaches are, both on and off the field. We look beyond the number on the back of the jersey. We look beyond the color of the uniform. We are about to take you beyond the arch.
Welcome back to TVM News. Let's check in with TVM sports anchor John Ferraro from Marywood Sports. So John, what's the latest?
Well, Hannah, a Pacers student-athlete made his mark at the NCAAs last weekend.
Wow, that's quite the accomplishment.
It is, and he's not done yet. Marywood Pacers fans are still buzzing over the performance from freshman David Haynes last weekend. Haynes took 12th place at the NCAA Division III Mideast Region Cross Country Championships. As the top freshman finisher, he became the first Marywood runner to ever qualify for the NCAA Division III Championships. Haynes is also the first men's cross-country student-athlete in school history to be named to the All-Mideast Regional Team by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association. He will compete for the NCAA Division III title tomorrow. The women's soccer team season ended last weekend at the Eastern College Athletic Conference playoffs. The Pacers opened with a dominant 9-1 victory over City College of New York. Junior midfielder Julie Youngman tallied 9 points with 4 goals and an assist. Marywood advanced to the quarterfinals, but top-seeded Springfield College eliminated the Pacers in a 5-0 shutout. The Pacers finished the 2017 season with a 13-7 record. The Pacers swimming team split a meet against Cabrini last weekend. I was there to cover the action. Men's and women's swimming and diving were in action this past weekend. The swimmers hosted Gorden University, while the divers welcomed the University of Scranton in a non-scoring matchup. The women's swimming team made a splash with a 140-55 victory over Cabrini, their first win of the season. The Pacers won 10 of the 12 events, and 7 different swimmers were victorious. The men's team captured 5 individual wins and a relay victory despite losing to Cabrini 103-96. For TVM News, I'm John Ferraro. Junior Courtney Snyder provided some highlights for the diving team. Snyder took first in both the 1-meter and 3-meter. The divers are home this Sunday against Division II Clarion University. The men's basketball team began their season with an 80-69 victory over Penn State Lehigh Valley on Wednesday. The Pacers controlled most of the game, leading for over 36 minutes. Senior forward Kendall Farrell had a double-double, while junior guard Tip Schwartz led all scorers with the game-high 16 points. Junior forward Jeremy Ringland also landed in double figures with 14 points. The team travels to Newman University for its CSAC opener next Tuesday. In other news, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is making noise this week. ESPN reported last week that Jones is threatening to sue the National Football League if Commissioner Roger Goodell's contract extension is approved. Sources told the networks Outside the Lines that Jones has been exploring the lawsuit option. ESPN also reported that Goodell was seeking a 7-year, $50 million per year extension and lifetime use of a private jet. The New York Times reports that the NFL Compensation Committee issued Jones a cease and desist on Monday, warning him to stop his threats. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott is officially suspended. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denied the emergency injunction request by the NFL Players Association on behalf of Elliott last Thursday. The Cowboys are not permitted to have contact with Elliott during his suspension. ESPN reports that Elliott will train outside the United States until he's allowed to play again. Pending a December 1st hearing, he will miss at least the next 4 games and is likely to serve the entire 6-game suspension. Major League Baseball announced its yearly awards this week. New York Yankee outfielder Aaron Judge unanimously won American League Rookie of the Year. Judge set a rookie record with an AL leading 52 home runs. Los Angeles Dodgers first baseman Cody Bellinger won the National League Rookie of the Year honors by setting the NL record with 39 home runs. The Washington Nationals' Max Scherzer was named NL Cy Young, while the Cleveland Indians' Corey Kluber won the award in the AL. The Houston Astros' Jose Altuve was named AL MVP, while Giancarlo Stanton earned NL MVP honors. That's all for sports this week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, John. Texas police are questioning the techniques of 3 men who robbed a Houston donut shop. The men invaded Shipley Donuts wearing gloves and face masks. 2 men were robbing the shop while the third handed out donuts to customers. After ensuring customers had their free pastries, the thieves fled.
Well, I guess that was pretty nice of them.
I think he felt bad for the people in the shop at the time of the robbery.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of TVM News. From all of us here at TV-Marywood, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow TV-Marywood's YouTube page and like the TVM Facebook page to stay up to date on the latest happenings and watch additional content. For TVM News, I'm Brooke Williams.
And I'm Hannah Weaver. We'll see you next week.